The White House is warning that the United States assesses Iran could launch a retaliatory attack on Israel as early as this week, and that the US has to be prepared for an attack that could be significant. The warning comes as the US has bolstered its force posture in the Middle East and has been very public in announcing its military moves, something US officials say is intended to deter Iran from possibly attacking and de-escalate tensions in the region. That includes the Pentagon's announcement Sunday that the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln's arrival to the region was being accelerated, as well as the rare public announcement that the guided missile submarine USS Georgia was being sent to the Middle East from its current deployment. We share the same concerns and expectations that our Israeli counterparts have with respect to potential timing here, could be this week, Kirby said. We have to be prepared for what could be a significant set of attacks, he added. A Hezbollah commander, Fuad Shukr, and a top Hamas political leader, Ismail Haniyeh, were killed in separate incidents last month. Israel took responsibility for the strike that killed Shukr but has not said if it was also behind the attack that killed Haniyeh in Tehran, which Iran has blamed on Israel. The recent assassinations of Shukr in Beirut and Haniyeh in Tehran have the Middle East on edge that Iran could retaliate against Israel by once again launching a strike toward Israel, as it did in mid-April. On Monday, President Joe Biden spoke with the leaders of France, Germany, Italy and the United Kingdom to discuss the escalating tensions in the Middle East, and the increased force posture by the US in the region. The president is confident that we have the capability available to us to help defend Israel, should it come to that, Kirby said. However, Hamas issued an announcement on Sunday saying it would not participate in the upcoming round of negotiations, casting significant doubt over whether talks would indeed resume. A public spat playing out between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant over support for a hostage release and ceasefire deal also threatens to undercut messaging to Iran signaling that a deal was in reach. Despite the uncertainty, Patel said mediators fully expect talks to move forward as they should, in order to bring this deal to conclusion. On Monday, the State Department said it would continue its diplomatic push to encourage Iran to scale down any retaliation. We continue to work diplomatically to prevent any major escalation in this conflict, Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel said. We obviously don't want to see any kind of attack or response happen in the first place. Multiple officials within the department say they are still cautiously optimistic Iran will limit the scope of its retaliation and hope it will avoid significant escalation out of concern it would disrupt ceasefire deal talks the US, Egypt and Qatar aim to relaunch on Thursday. A joint statement issued by the mediators last week urging both sides to return to the table was designed not only to pressure the parties involved but as a message to Iran that an agreement was in the offing and meant to persuade the country wants to see it come to that, which is why we continue to have these diplomatic conversations in earnest over the last few days to see what can be done to de-escalate this situation, he continued. U.S. officials told ABC News that the announcement about the USS Georgia's deployment was intended as a message of deterrence to Iran about the continued presence of the U.S. military in the region, and that the United States is capable of surging military resources as needed. In April, hundreds of Iranian drones and ballistic missiles were brought down by a combination of U.S. and Israeli aircraft, as well as Israeli and U.S. air defense systems, officials have said. Israel and the US prepare for series of scenarios, including a potential Hezbollah attack. Ahead of that attack, the US had quietly moved in additional aircraft and vessels to the region to assist Israel. This time, the United States has been public in announcing it was sending an additional squadron of Air Force F-22 aircraft, carrier-based Navy F/A-18s to a base on land, and deploying additional destroyers and the Lincoln to the region. U.S. officials said the public announcements are intended to send a message to Iran that American military capabilities could be used against an Iranian attack. One U.S. official indicated the deployment of the USS Georgia, and the 154 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles aboard, also sent